Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst. Before we get rolling here, I suggest you click in the settings, speed it up to 1.25 or 1.5. All right, let's get into this week's mock draft. First overall pick, Detroit Lions. I have them taking Kayvon Thibodeaux, defensive end from Oregon. Give them a Khalil Mack type defender in that defense. They got to ramp up the pass rush. They need a guy, a playmaker, an engine for that defense to make things happen. Thibodeaux could be that best player in the draft, it's looking like right now. But between him and Adam Anderson, I think the Lions have two really good options that are good scheme fits for them high in the first round. So this is a good value for Detroit if there isn't a top quarterback prospect. Second overall, I have the Eagles taking Adam Anderson, edge rusher from Georgia. Gives them a fast quarterback hunter off the edge. Brandon Graham is nearing the end of his career. He's not a long-term starter at this point. Derek Barnett's heading into free agency. Anderson could be their future lead edge pass rusher, really make things go for that defense. Third overall, I have the Jaguars taking Kyle Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame. Not the biggest need on the Jags roster, but they just need to get better players, best player available, really, outside of quarterback and running back. And in my mind, Kyle Hamilton's the third best player in this draft class at this point, but he's a do-it-all safety, dynamic guy as a run defender, so fast coming downhill. He's big. He can be that eighth man in the box. He's rangy, excellent speed, so he can be that deep free safety to lock down the back end. Would really make that Jags defense more formidable and give them a playmaker that can make things happen as a run defender and in pass coverage. Fourth overall, I have the Texans taking Matt Corral, quarterback from Ole Miss. Obviously, Deshaun Watson will be gone before too long. Here's their future franchise quarterback to build around. Fifth overall, I have the Giants taking Evan Neal, left tackle from Alabama. I have him going to right tackle in the NFL for the Giants. Give them a bookend with Andrew Thomas. Neal is massive, 6'7", 6'6", 350 pounds, has solid quickness and athleticism for a guy that big, but he really doesn't have left tackle feet, but that's fine because the Giants plug him in at right tackle. He's an upgrade over Nate Solder. Now they have their long-term bookends, and Neal will help protect Daniel Jones and open holes for Saquon Barkley. Sixth overall, I have the Jets taking Derek Stingley, cornerback from LSU. They badly need cornerback help. Here's the number one corner, best corner in the draft. Give them an elite potential shutdown corner for Robert Saleh's defense. Seventh overall, I have the Patriots taking Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end from Michigan. Give them more pass rush, more edge rush. They definitely could use it. They could use help elsewhere on the defense, really any position aside from safety. So best defensive player available if you don't have an elite receiver available, I think is a strategy that New England could definitely consider. Eighth overall, I have the Eagles taking Trent McDuffie, cornerback from Washington, really well-rounded cover corner, could form a really nice duo with Darius Slay. And then in the long term, when Slay ages out or gets too expensive, then they can just have McDuffie in-house as their future number one corner. So I think in the short term and long term, that pick makes a lot of sense for the Eagles. Ninth overall, I have the Colts taking Tariq Castro-Fields, cornerback from Penn State. They could use a number one corner. Castro-Fields has a Marlon Humphrey-type skill set kind of heading into the NFL. Could be a really nice player there for the Colts. This pick could go to the Eagles, but I'm not going to project it there yet until Carson Wentz plays the snap percentage needed for it to kick over to the Eagles. With his injury history and how often he's playing banged up, it wouldn't surprise me if he has an injury and the Colts end up only giving a second rounder. So until he hits the quota, I'm going to keep projecting this pick as the Colts. 10th overall, I have the Jets taking Travon Walker, edge rusher from Georgia. They could use an edge rusher to go with Carl Lawson. Travon Walker's been phenomenal this year, week by week, so consistent, tough run defender, big and strong at the point of attack, but also quick and athletic, gets after the quarterback. He could be a really nice fit there for Saleh and the Jets. 11th overall, I have Washington taking Malik Willis, quarterback from Liberty. big arm, good feet, mobile, dual threat guy, needs to develop pocket passing, working, reading through progressions. He can get blinded some in the pocket. That's something Scott Turner can work with, but obviously Washington needs a long-term starting quarterback. 12th overall, I have the Falcons taking Jermaine Johnson, defensive end from Florida State, Georgia transfer. He's been really good this year for the Seminoles, making a lot of tackles in the ground game, getting after the quarterback. I think he could form a nice duo there with Dante Fowler in Atlanta. 13th overall, I have the Dolphins taking Brandon Smith, linebacker from Penn State. They've needed linebacker help past few years. Smith, well-rounded player. He can drop into coverage, is a solid run defender. Big, fast, athletic, has upside to develop. So in that regard, similar to Jalen Phillips, and I think he would be a plug-and-play upgrade for Miami. 14th overall, I have the Broncos taking Rasheed Walker, left tackle from Penn State. They've had a big hole at right tackle for years. Walker could come in and fix that problem. Really would make a big upgrade there for the Broncos, and he has an excellent skill set. Needs some development, but he's 6'6", 6'5", 320, moves well, quick and athletic, has a lot of upside for the NFL. 15th overall, I have Carolina taking Trevor Penning, left tackle from Northern Iowa. Matt Rule and the Panthers have kind of done a patchwork job on that offensive line the past few off seasons. A lot of veteran journeymen, and they get by against an average or decent defense. But when they play a good defense or a defense that has a good interior defensive line or good edge rushers, they've just had such a problem up front. We saw it last year with Teddy Bridgewater. We're seeing it this year with Sam Darnold. They got to upgrade the talent on that line, find more long-term solutions. Penning could be that long-term left tackle to protect Sam Darnold. 16th overall, I have the Giants taking George Karlaftis, edge rusher from Purdue. Give them a bookend to go with Azeez Ojulari. Karlaftis is really good at getting off blocks, getting upfield, putting pressure on the quarterback. Needs to get a bit stronger at defending runs coming downhill straight at him, but that's something the Giants can work with, and I think they really need another edge rusher to go with Ojulari. 17th overall, I have the Browns taking Treylon Burks, wide receiver from Arkansas. Obviously, Odell Beckham is not the player he once was. His contract situation and that of Jarvis Landry, both of them could be gone. Maybe one sticks around, but either way, they could use more receiver talent for Baker Mayfield. Treylon Burks is such a dynamic guy on the 50-50 jump balls, uses his big size and strength to get position, box guys out, makes fabulous contested catches, dangerous after the catch. I think he'd be an upgrade for the Browns and be a nice safety blanket for Baker Mayfield to throw the ball up to and trust his receiver to come down with it and make a play. So I like that fit for the Browns. 18th overall, I have the Chiefs taking Nicholas Petit-Frere, left tackle from Ohio State. Give them a bookend to go with Orlando Brown. Obviously, Mike Remmers and the other tackles they've had on the right side aren't long-term starters there for Kansas City. So you take a guy like Petit-Frere, has a left tackle skill set. Between him and Orlando Brown, you have a really nice bookends there to protect Pat Mahomes. 19th overall, I have the Vikings taking Perry and Winfrey, defensive tackle from Oklahoma. Give them an interior pass rusher. They could use some youth on the inside of that defensive line. Winfrey's a nice scheme fit. 20th overall, I have the Steelers taking Abraham Lucas, right tackle from Washington State. Obviously, the Steelers need more long-term offensive line answers. There isn't a quarterback here worth taking at this point, so I could see the Steelers going with offensive line help in that scenario, and Lucas would be a plug-and-play guy, good size at right tackle, has a lot of experience. I think he could step in and contribute quickly for Pittsburgh. 21st overall, I have the Saints taking Jordan Davis, defensive tackle from Georgia. Big interior presence, tall, strong, wide defensive tackle, eats up a lot of blocks, contributes in the pass rush by getting a push, taking away that avenue for a quarterback to step up in the pocket, and that'll help the Saints edge rushers, but they could use some youth on the interior of the defensive line. Davis would be a nice fit for them. 22nd overall, I have the Titans taking Daniel Falele, right tackle from Minnesota, big, massive guy, be a nice run blocker for Derrick Henry, allow them to kick Dylan Redunds inside to guard, which I think is a better fit for them, and that would upgrade their line at 2 spots with this one pick. So I think that makes a lot of sense for Tennessee and really will help the protection for Ryan Tannehill as well when you put a big monster like Falele on the right side. 23rd overall, I have the Raiders taking DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. He's end and tackle for the Aggies, but he could move inside as a 3 technique and a 4-3 defense. Would be a nice fit there for Gus Bradley. They could play him as a heavy defensive end and base sets and move him inside in the sub. They could do a lot of different things. He's a good fit there, but he has really nice interior rush ability, instinctive versus the run, needs to get stronger and tougher to hold up as an every down run defender, but the skill set is there to work with for the Raiders. 24th overall, I have the Cowboys taking Zachary Carter, defensive lineman from Florida, really similar player to Leal, where he could be a heavy defensive end and run sets and then move inside and rush as a 3 technique in the sub package, which teams play the majority anyway. So he has versatility, would give the Cowboys an interior rusher, and they could use more young talent on that defensive line. 25th overall, I have the Chargers taking Josh Jobe, cornerback from Alabama. Big, fast, athletic cornerback. The Chargers could use more youth at the position, give them a big guy on the outside, a potential number 1 corner. Jobe has a really good skill set, needs to get a little bit more consistent, but I think the Chargers could work with him and he'd be a good fit there in their scheme. 26th overall, I have the Bengals taking Darian Kennard, right tackle from Kentucky, would be a really good fit there in Cincinnati, improve that offensive line, be a good asset in the ground game and protecting Joe Burrow. So best offensive alignment available, I think, could make sense for Cincinnati at 26. 27th overall, I have Detroit taking Jahan Dotson, wide receiver from Penn State. Give them a playmaker. They badly need receiver help. Dotson has the speed to stretch defenses vertically. He's such a tough, competitive player. I think that he'd be a really nice fit lining up with T.J. Hawkinson. Give them another guy that's a mismatch weapon that can uncover. They need multiple receivers. I think taking the best receiver available, maybe taking 2 receivers, one on day 1 and one on day 2, would make sense for the Lions. 28th overall, I have the Packers taking Chris Olave, wide receiver from Ohio State. Jordan Love's going to need more long-term weapons, even if Devontae Adams is re-signed. Randall Cobb's not a long-term answer. The other guys just flash here and there, but no one's really proven to be a solid, consistent number 2. So even if Adams comes back, they need to give their young quarterback some help. And if Adams is gone, it's an even bigger, immediate pressing need. But Olave's an excellent route runner, polished receiver, has speed, could be a really nice guy for Love as a receiver that can uncover and get open for him. 29th overall, I have the Bills taking Kaiir Elam, cornerback from Florida. They could use more cornerback talent across from Trey White. I think Elam, really good cover corner, really well-rounded player, just has some speed concerns. So if he runs well in the pre-draft workouts, he could rise significantly. So that's just kind of the concern that scouts have on him from what they've told me. But they like him, think he's a really good player. Just wondering about his speed and ability to carry verticals in the NFL. 30th overall, I have the Bucs taking Isaiah Spiller, running back from Texas A&M. Big running back, really athletic, surprising. When you look at him, you don't think he'd be as good a receiver as he is. So that makes him a great fit for Tampa Bay with how Tom Brady uses receivers out of the backfield. And he's big and physical, can be that bell cow back. So I like this fit for the Bucs offense. 31st overall, and also with the Bucs, they have Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, Gio Bernard, all going to be up in their contracts. Could use some long-term running back answer there and some consistency. So even if one of them comes back, would it make sense to continue to fortify that position and help Tom Brady and have depth there? 31st overall, I have the Ravens taking Drake Jackson, edge rusher from USC. Give them a bookend edge rusher to go with. Jason Owe would be a really nice pick for Baltimore to get a pass rusher late in the first round, continue to build up that defense. 32nd overall, I have the Cardinals taking Jalen Weidermeyer, tight end from Texas A&M. They traded for Zach Ertz, but they could use more long-term answers, and Weidermeyer, excellent route runner. I think that's a great fit for Cliff Kingsbury. All right, let's get to the teams that don't have first-round picks. So first up, we have Seattle. I have them taking Fedarian Mathis, defensive tackle from Alabama, interior pass rusher, has good size to him, really tough defender, really coming on this season, has played really well. I think he'd be a good fit in Seattle. Next up, we have the 49ers. I have them taking Jermaine Waller, cornerback from Virginia Tech. He's been a ball hawk this year, was a ball hawk in 2019. San Francisco really needs cornerback help, and I think Waller could be a plug-and-play upgrade for them. Next up, Bears. I have them taking Drake London, wide receiver from USC. Give Justin Fields a weapon. Drake London is big, physical, dynamic on jump balls, 50-50 plays. He brings a size mismatch to the table. I think he'd be a really good asset for a young quarterback, for a guy that he can throw the ball up to when things break down, and a receiver that can make some plays for him even when he's covered. Lastly, we have the Rams. I have them taking a Caleb Evans, cornerback from Missouri. Was at Tulsa last year, had a really nice season. Gives them a cover corner that can go with Jalen Ramsey, improve the secondary there in Los Angeles. So that's this week's mock draft. If you want to click the links below, I have it there. Can see the rest of the picks there in the second round. Of course, we got position rankings being updated, big board updated, draft stock reports every week, Walt's mock updated every week along with mine, and of course check out Walt's weekly picks, the videos, the columns, all that stuff on Walter Football. Great stuff there for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please be safe. Love to all of you, and I'll be back with you soon.